when all the goodwill that you've made with your new club in the middle of dramas and backing your coach gets thrown out the window by your dad doing a rogue Instagram story, you know it's time to look at LOYG.
LOYG.
Yes, look at League. Stu here, Dave there.
Hello, Stu.
And Ben not here.
No, Ben.
Pretending that he's got other matters to attend to of the making money for his family variety, which is, you know, we look down our noses at that sort of thing here. How are you, Dave?
I'm really well, Stu. I enjoyed last round's footy for lots of reasons.
Well, not for the tipping reasons, I can tell you that.
No.
Bit going on in the news, you reckon, at the moment in rugby league?
There's a bit happening. What was your favourite news story, or do you want me to start with mine?
You go.
Because I go for the Panthers, it's built in for me to enjoy schadenfreude moments when something bad happens at Roosters.
Oh, yes.
Did you see Coach Robinson's press conference yesterday?
Blaming, saying that they never wanted to get rid of Dom and that Knights are the ones. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, that was really weird.
Yeah, I don't know about that. What, it seems to me I reckon they're probably trying to squeeze a bit more money into this situation. Like, maybe they've got rid of Cheese, Terrell May's gone, DCE sounds like he's going there. Have they got enough for him? Or is it someone else? They make a play for someone else. They're not going to have another crack at Fofuda, surely, are they?
Well, somebody is. There must be something happening with Fofuda. But after how badly that deal broke up last year, you wouldn't think that they'd be able to put it back together again.
It doesn't seem Politis-like to
ego
crawl back to having something shoved in his face like that.
The big talk's Joey Manu straight back this year.
Oh, right, yeah.
But centre is not where they need help.
No. But, Dave, I've got to tell you, I've thought this for a few years now. Teddy should be moving into centres.
Teddy in the centres?
Teddy in the centres.
Manu to fullback?
Manu to fullback. Manu can't, there was talk of Manu going to 5'8". I don't think the man's passed a ball in his life that wasn't a flick pass out of a tackle.
Well, what you do when you're playing footy, you know this, you look for a man in a better position than you, and that's who you pass it to. And Joey always thinks he's the best.
No one's ever been in a better position than Joey.
It's it.
Yeah, listen, Teddy can do all that weird scat running in the centres. It doesn't have to be at fullback to do all that, does he?
He can go both sides of the field still. And
you know what? It might not halt the attack so much doing it from centre, because he's only missing out on passing to a winger rather than... you're only missing out on passing on one player rather than two players when he steps back on the inside and starts scatting back into the middle of the field. Anyway, we went from Robbo being a bit pooey in a press conference to Roosters selections. But, I think he's just trying to get the Knights to pay more.
Yeah, I think you might be right.
My suspicion there.
His allegation, his assertion that the Knights wanted Dom Young this year but didn't want to pay any of this year's freight, that just doesn't sound... Surely the Knights aren't that crazy.
No, but the Knights might not have that much freight. They're paying Jackson Hastings nearly $900K to sit in reserve grade. Because his wife mouthed off or something. The stories going around in the tabloids.
Yeah. And speaking of which, did you see the video of the Adam O'Brien press conference sitting next to Ponga this week?
Yes, I did. And, I think it was renowned journalist The Mole who posted up that footage. And, it was... O'Brien's talking about, I don't know if there's many other changes we can make to this side, and Ponga does a clear eye roll and head shake.
Yeah, the head shake. The head shake inside his brain was so vigorous that he couldn't help it moving in real life.
That feels untenable to me. How do you actually go back and start building towards the next win when your captain's doing that next to you in a press conference?
I don't think, with all the money that they've spent on Brown for next year, I don't think there's much chance that Ponga's there next year.
But isn't he locked up? What's the clause that he could get out on? Or do you think just he's going to
rugby league, anyone can leave at any time clause?
So he's going to sit in second gear until they either drop him or offload him?
No, I don't know. Like there was times he looked really interested last round, but the weeks before, not so much.
Imagine being a fan, paying someone $1 million a year, and you're happy that they look interested some weeks.
Oh, no, I don't want to do that. That sounds like it would hurt.
Oh, God. When you at the start said, as a Panthers fan, and talking about the story, I thought you were going to talk about that trainer drenching the ball and giving it for the kickoff.
It's been a really weird cycle of events and emotions with that, because when I first saw that, I thought, oh, you know what? That's really sad that we're at that point where we think we need to do these gamesmanship type plays to try and get an advantage. And then throughout the week, all the extra images and footage of the Cowboys in the same game doing the same thing.
Yeah, I suspect everyone does it.
Well, and it's probably been happening since we had leather balls and it actually made a difference.
You could actually ball starts cracking in the second half.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand, who was this that had the camera on Zoom on the trainer before the kickoff, handing the ball over? Like, was someone looking for it specifically?
Oh, yeah, the Shane Elford fan club. They like to zoom in on him.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
So, and the other thing you mentioned to me earlier, the Bears looking at coaches.
Yeah, there's news. I don't know if it's made up or otherwise, especially with the Telegraph.
With NRL news, you mean?
NRL news. Yeah, because we heard, even before the Bears was announced officially as the new next team, there was talk about Brad Arthur being locked up as the coach.
Mm.
Today I heard, I think it was on maybe Triple M, the guys there talking about Sam Burgess or Mal Meninga being the target for the Bears, inaugural coach.
Mal Meninga, yes. I love that. Sam Burgess, go away, please. Like, the only club it would make sense for him to come over to NRL, if he's even anywhere near that standard, would be Souths, surely.
With the history
he can come and learn from Bennett for a year or so, and then have a crack, maybe, because who is feeling up in those South shoes after Bennett goes for a second time?
Yeah. Someone that's going to have a lot of their own aura.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I think that's the only way it makes any sense for Burgess to be over here coaching. How does it make any sense?
The barrow that was being pushed was, I think somebody's like going to get a percentage of a deal if it gets done the way they were pushing it, was he understands rugby and he understands the Super League better than most. So that means that he can tap into those player reserves to help fill a 30-man squad for the Bears.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I just don't know about that. And Brad Arthur, I suspect he's got a chance at a coaching gig before the Bears come in.
You might be right.
Particularly with Ponga rolling his eyes at Adam O'Brien in press conferences. Like that seems like a very short-lived situation there, surely.
Surely. We've been saying that for weeks, though.
Yeah, but I can't overstate how big that footage... Like, that's a big deal, Dave.
Yeah.
Can you imagine any other captain rolling their eyes at their coach in a press conference?
No. It was something, wasn't it?
It's fucking massive, if you'll excuse my language. Like, that's huge.
Yeah, so this...
Plus, sorry, one of Brad Arthur's kids is already at Newcastle. Because it seems like we want to fill up every head coaching position with a son in the playing ranks to get nepotism going everywhere.
Well, I mean, the Lang connection in 2003 and then the Cleary since, it works. You win premierships.
Yeah, Walters didn't work so much. Flanagan's, jury's out on Flanagan's.
Yeah, I think that's back to the other word, the nepotism word you said.
Yes. All right. Well, any other news before we move on to... Well, I'm reluctant to move on to the round and our tips, but anything else?
I can't think of any more. There was so much I read this week and heard, but I can't remember any right now. Sorry, Stu.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I mean, we could talk about Moses telling 100% footy who can and can't be on the panel, but we'll leave that. We don't need to talk about that. Dave, the round that was, first round was Eels v Dolphins. The final score was, as you well know, 20-16 in the way of the Dolphins. All three of us picked Eels.
Yeah, the Sydney home team against the away Dolphins, it just made sense, right? And Eels were on the up. Well,
we got mesmerised by Moses mesmerised, I think.
It's easy for you to say.
Yeah, it is. I was just sure he was going to come out and dominate, but Katoa. Oh,
isn't he good?
He's amazing.
He's so talented. I wish
and he's
he was
5.
Still at Penrith.
He's 5 years old.
Yeah.
Best 5-year-old halfback in the NRL.
Well, it was 3 tries all, goal kicking the difference. So,
yeah. And Moses isn't kicking because he's preserving his half-eaten foot or whatever the problem is with it.
Yeah, for Origin.
Well, probably, yeah. Unless Luai's dad wants to put out a story about New South Wales selections as well. That have some influence.
Do you think, speaking in Origin, do you think the fact that Herbie Farnsworth isn't eligible because he's a UK-born lad, do you think that's why he's not talked about in the highest levels? Because I think he's pretty good for a centre. I think
people who know their league talk about him as one of the best centres there is.
I bet the Broncos wish they had been able to keep him.
Well, I think the Broncos' problems are larger than having a slightly better centre than what they've got already.
Shibasaki.
Well, yeah. Yeah. But you're right, Farnsworth is amazing. I'm really looking forward to this Ashes series.
Yeah.
How good's it going to be? And Brimo's now a Pom.
Everyone's going to bring out their great-grandmother's passports for this one.
Why not? Let's even it up. Who cares? Come on. Yeah.
You remember the...
Although what it has done for Brimo means that he's out of contention for Queensland selection when he was probably an
is he
injury.
a Queenslander?
Brimo, yeah, 2020. Don't you remember him carving us up in 2020?
Yeah, the Wayne Bennett special.
Yeah. But he's probably an injury away or two from being in contention to be picked this year, and now that's gone.
Oh, well, he took it off the table. But anyway, his team's... Well, we'll get to that in a minute.
Well, we will get to it now because that's a segue from hell. Titans 24, Knights 20. We all picked Knights, despite the fact I pick Titans every week. I didn't pick them this week, and they won, didn't they?
Well, at halftime when it was 20-6, how are you feeling about that tip?
Oh, I felt pretty clever.
Yeah. What happened after halftime, Stu?
I don't like. I've said this before. I'll probably end up saying it every week. Knights looked like they put their tools away.
Yeah.
I don't understand how any team, particularly the Knights, can get complacent against anyone. But is that what you think happened?
I don't know. Like, what's the opposite to a coach's rev-up speech at halftime?
Oh, sucking... No.
Yeah, because it happened at Newcastle. Because they came out...
like, just going around and just handing out lovely fudge sundaes to everybody.
Yeah.
Just saying, relax, guys.
Did they think they had it won?
Have a sweet treat.
Did they think they had it won when they walked off at halftime, maybe?
I don't know how that's possible. I don't know what more evidence you need. That 20 points ain't going to cut it in this league. Anyways, oh, God. Particularly when you're Knights.
Yeah. At Newcastle.
Well, yes. All right.
Speaking of Tale of Two Halves, what happened in the next game, Stu?
Jesus. Rabbits and Broncos. 22 to Rabbits, 14 to Broncos. What is the Broncos' deal?
I don't know.
Because we can't blame Reece Walsh making 20 errors. He hasn't been in the side for weeks.
Well, I mean,
you can't blame their go forward because Haas and Carrigan are giving them plenty of go forward.
After half an hour, weren't they up 14-0? Something like that. And then what happened? Or maybe the Madge gave the same speech as O'Brien.
But Reynolds, is it Reynolds? Like, is he just not as, like, he can kick, but in other areas, is he not as good as we think?
Against the Bulldogs, he was godlike. That was only a couple of weeks ago. How can they go from that to this?
I don't know. I don't want to say everything's complacency, but they are a smug side, the Broncos, it feels to me.
Do you think what year was it? I've forgotten. 22? The 22 ego hasn't been brought into check?
Oh, when they were in grand final?
Yeah.
23.
Yeah. Sorry. All the premierships are
they're all blend into each other, I suppose. Yeah, I don't know. I've watched League a long time, so have you. I can't tell you what's wrong with this Broncos side, why they can't win with the side they've got on paper.
Even still, like they have lost a lot of talent since that grand final, but their roster's got a couple of gaps on the edge.
Yeah.
Mainly.
And I don't want to...
They're better than... I mean, Wayne Bennett, we talked about it a little earlier, 2020 Wayne Bennett won that Origin with the worst Queensland side ever.
Yeah.
But he's still doing it with this half of the south side.
Yep. Den Kemp made a good point on his podcast that, Broncos... Last year they had the most casual coach that's probably ever coached the NRL, Kevin Walters. Right?
Yeah.
Because... that was his style, and they thought that would work with this playing group because they're all kind of big dogs and egos and all that sort of stuff. So, hands off, more casual approach. That didn't work.
A little bit of ego boosting will get him across the line.
It didn't work. He got sacked. Now they've got the polar opposite, like a taskmaster and strict guy. That's not working either. So, you've had both ends of the spectrum. Neither are working. So it can only be the players now.
Yeah. And like you said, it's not Haas and Carrigan because they're laying the platform of all platforms. Buzz Rothfield, his big thing this week is that all the grief that Kevy got over his tenure, this is the worst the Broncos have been since Kevy started after 10 rounds.
Oh, wow, okay.
But credit to the Rabbits. Like,
yes,
half a team salary cap wise, to pull it together and to just not give up, to play to the 79th minute or the 70th minute to get in front, so impressive.
And I'm not being a turd here, but was it you or Wigo that didn't have Laddie Mitts in there with Steve Origin side?
That's the man that's not here today. Laddie Mitts was my left centre.
Yeah, okay. That surely you boot someone out for him after that.
Doesn't matter who. It's just the enigma that is.
Yeah.
Plus, he does seem to rise to occasions too, for the most part.
Absolutely.
2-point field goal.
50-metre field goal. So good. All right. Raiders and Bulldogs match of the round.
Taylor two halves again.
Two halves. Yeah, absolutely. But I watched that game. That was the craziest game I think I've watched in a long time.
I didn't get to see this game. You're going to have to take me through it because I saw all the highlights, but it didn't make sense. How could a game be 20-0 at halftime and then 32-20 the other way at the end?
I don't know how to explain it. I think I know a bit about footy. I grew up with it, watched it a long time. I cannot explain to you why that turnaround. It can't just be a rev up. No, who's got that kind of oratory skill for that kind of turnaround in a halftime speech?
You know what? I'm going to do the work. I'm going to do the hard work this week. I'm going to go back on this round and I'm going to do the stats. I've got a really strong feel, and I don't like talking about refs, but I bet the 6 agains go with the score.
Right. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see what you're saying. The 6 agains are influencing games so much that if one team is blowing another one away in one half, do you think the refs might try and help?
I'm not going to say that a ref would try and influence the game, but it's just that the impact that momentum now has with 6 agains, with the speeding up of the game that they said a few years ago, it's a momentum that almost can't be brought back.
Yeah. Yeah, sounds right to me. Dragons lost by 1 point in Win Stadium to the Warriors. By the way, so all of us picked Eels first game wrong. All of us picked Knights first game wrong. All of us picked Broncos third game wrong. All of us picked Raiders wrong.
But we were up at halftime every game.
Yeah, exactly. So this is the first game where you and Ben got a pick right. I still picked Dragons for this one.
You know what? Actually, again, coach, did you see what Flanagan said in the post match about?
No. Who did he give it to?
Well, that's exactly. Every week when they lose, he seems to just give it to one of his own players. He brought it up 3 separate times in the post-match. Well, if we'd have kicked our goals, if our goal kicker had done his job, we wouldn't be here.
Oh.
He gave it to Val.
So let me look at this.
Val.
He's 1 from 3.
Yeah. Wow. The Dragons scored 3 tries to 2 and they lost.
Yeah. Oh, God.
But to be fair, that's a very Dragons thing to do.
Yeah, and
our friend Maddie has told me about that before.
Waz winning away from home's a pretty special thing as well.
And moving up to outright second.
Moving on up to outright second.
Metcalf.
Yeah.
Round 1 in Vegas. Everyone was putting the Warriors in the bottom 2, and Metcalf doesn't deserve to be in first grade. He played a terrible game. Man of the match here. They're outright second.
I'm just looking at the draw here.
Mm-hmm.
Apollo Project Stadium, that's in New Zealand, isn't it? It's a home game for him.
Apollo Creed?
Yeah. Anyway, so Magic Round there at Suncorp. Then they were at Win Stadium, and now they're at Suncorp again next week. So they haven't been home in 3 weeks or something by the end of next round.
Oh, right. Because even though there was a home game, it was an away from home game.
It was, Magic Round.
Yeah.
Ooh, interesting.
Something to keep in mind for your next tip.
Absolutely. Speaking of tips, no one tipped a draw. What idiots we are. 30 all, Cowboys, Panthers.
Okay, so I watched this with all the family and friends. It was a full lounge room.
All your friends, Dave?
No. I wish you were there, Stu. It would have helped. Because at the point... Oh, man, I've forgotten his name. What was the name of the Cowboys
winger? Your friend or what?
The Cowboys winger that made all the mistakes. Robert Darby.
Yeah.
He had made so many horrible mistakes that we were worried for his well-being, right? And we were watching on KO. So when Vossi said, it's okay, looks like the Panthers are going to win, but Darby deserves to have a try to make up for all these mistakes. And we kind of felt the same. We felt sorry for the poor guy. Then he scores. But then they scored again. And then it went into Golden Point.
Yeah.
It was really weird seeing both coaches really angry with the ref after the game, blaming it on the referee. So I don't know if they can both be right, but maybe they can. When a game's close, I guess little things make a big difference.
Hey, well, I can see Tom Jenkins amongst the try scorers here, so carrying him on the bench was obviously a genius move.
Yeah, having a halfback and a winger on the bench when... yeah, that wasn't the difference at all. We ran out of gas at the end.
Yeah, just needed to tackle.
Exactly.
All right. What about... Okay, so we all picked Panthers. That's a half point. We all picked Tigers in the next game.
Did we really?
We really did, Dave. Oh, well, you picked Tigers outright. Ben and I picked Tigers with the start. But
was the start 64.5?
Yeah. Sadly not. Yeah. So 64-0. God damn.
Well, I mean, again, tale of two halves. Storm only won by 34 in the first half, and they only won by 30 in the second.
Yeah. Just hang on a sec here. 6, 10, 4, 16, 18, 20, 22, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34 of those were Paps.
Yeah.
Wow.
More than half the points. And which one of you and Ben was it that really wants him in the Origin team?
Me.
All right, no, try and plead your case now, Ben. No,
well,
Ben didn't want it, you did.
Part of it is that Daly insisted that the team will be picked on form.
Yeah.
Like, he made a big point of saying that. If that's true, then Pappenhausen has to be over Edwards because he's
easily
in much better form.
Yeah. It's the last 5 weeks, that's why I picked Teddy in my team. But, yeah, Pappy's got his speed back.
He does. I don't know how you can have your knee fall off completely and go back to being that fast.
Maybe, I don't know, did they take a graft from Nelson's knee to help him have...
He wouldn't have noticed.
No.
We should get cracking here, Dave.
Yep, go.
And Sharks beat Manly 30-14. Enjoyable game to watch for me. Although I missed the first 20 minutes and didn't understand why the Sharks were giving it to Ruben Garrick so hard, but apparently he was a bit of a dick to somebody in the first bit, and now it all makes sense. But yeah, pretty happy with that.
Same thing. I didn't see all of the game, but why is there lots of Mulatalo hate this week?
I think because, I don't know, just because he's like...
When he scored his tries, he gave lots of attitude or something? I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of his energy seems to go into like celebration and being in other people's faces. I don't know that it always matches the actual playing energy. Anyway, I don't mind it. I think it's good for the game.
So the form, when, let's say, go back a month, everyone was Cherry Evans, how good is he going to be for whoever signs him when because he's gone on the market, and Nico Hines, how is he going to keep his spot in first grade? That's kind of flipped a bit, hasn't it?
Well, it has, but I'm always a bit conspiracy theory about this sort of thing when people announce that they're leaving and they're going somewhere else and then they start playing dud. It does always make me wonder.
Like he wants to get cut and go to the Roosters this year?
Are they trying to get out early? Yeah, I don't know. But that's, it's hard. Like, that's not a nice thing to say because you're questioning kind of professional
someone's integrity.
But, yeah. But still, like, that's the danger of, announcing what you're doing a year ahead of when it's happening. Anyway, let's take a break. All right. Let's have a look at the round coming up, Dave. For some reason, my NRL app seems powered by Steam today for some reason.
Well, I'll take you through it. So, first game of the round, we've got a Women's Origin game on Thursday. So, the first game of the NRL is on Friday night, 6 p.m. at Newcastle. Newcastle are hosting the Eels.
Very good. Team news. We've got Adam Elliott starting, I think, probably for the first time this year.
Gagai is set to play his 300th game for the night, or in the NRL.
Yeah. Well, 300 in the NRL. He went to South for a bit, didn't he? Thompson's out. That's pretty big. And then Zach Lomax is back for the Elios.
Yeah, so I guess he'll be goal kicking, and Mitchell Moses can rest that foot.
I got to pick Eels, Dave.
Really? Even at Newcastle?
Eye rolls, Dave.
Yeah.
Eye rolls in press conferences.
They were real.
That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know how they can train and stuff this week. I'd be fucking ropeable if I was O'Brien.
Yeah. And for someone who bases his coaching style on gravitas and importance, I don't know how he carries that.
Well, you learned from Bellamy.
Yeah, don't you know who I am?
Imagine eye-rolling at something Bellamy was saying in a press conference. Holy shit.
You'd worry for that person's safety, whoever that is.
Yeah, I'm Eels, Dave.
All right, yeah, let's go the Eels. Yep, Eels for their second win of the year.
I'm going to write them down here so I don't have to go back and remember them later. So you're Eels as well, are you?
Eels 1-6.
Eels 1-6. I'll say 1-12. I won't be as brave as you. All right. What about those Dogs and Roosters at Allianz? Oh, no, it's at a course. Sorry, excuse me. I don't know if there's any big team news. Salmon's out, injured.
That's the only change for the Dogs from last week.
Yep. And then Lindsay Collins is back for the Roosters, I assume in an effort to squeeze his way into Origin.
I guess so, yeah. I mean, it's funny because looking at this team list now, I think I like the Roosters team better, but you just know how well the Bulldogs team works together.
Yeah,
you have to pick the Bulldogs.
I have to pick Bulldogs. I can't do anything else.
You know what? I'm going to go Bulldogs, Carraz for a double.
Oh, wow. I'm going to go Bulldogs and Crichton first try scorer. How about that?
Like it. God, he was good last week. Oh, hang on. Which Crichton?
Oh, yeah, very good. The
Bulldog variety?
Bulldog variety, yes.
Very good. God, I miss him.
Oh, I can understand that. Holy sweet.
Yeah.
You just think about Crichton when Casey McLean's letting in all those tries.
Yes, that's it.
Dolphins v Warriors. That's at Suncorp Stadium. Thoughts, Dave?
Dolphins 12th, Warriors 2nd.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I don't think there's that much of a gap between the teams, really.
I don't, especially if you look at the last month or so.
JFH was returning.
Yeah, you know what? I was on the line, and now that just swung me back to the Warriors. I'm going to go the Warriors, but again, not many. It's 1-6, and what's his name? Katoa for 2 try assists.
Yeah. Even though I tipped against the Wars last week, and that was a mistake, I am going to tip the Dolphins this time, purely because of that travel we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Someone's got to benefit from that. May as well be the Dolphins.
You know who I see in the extended bench? Jersey number 22, Roger Tuivasa-Sheck.
Yeah, so did he not play? He didn't play last week.
He hasn't played for months.
No, but you thought he might have squeezed on last week, right?
That means Capewell can come out of the centres.
Well, it's been working for him. We can't doubt that. All right, what about the Cowboys and the Sea Eagles? That's in FNQ.
I'm going Sea Eagles 13+. I've got to think about teams playing off a Golden Point game. Because it means the intensity's so high, they have to be exhausted from the week prior.
Okay. Oh, you may have talked me into it. Also, you know what I think might be interesting? Everyone's putting their State of Origin teams out.
Yeah.
Quite a few people I'm seeing no Tommy Turbos in some sides.
But Jake Turbo's in. What's wrong with that?
I don't know. But do you think Tommy would be happy about seeing that?
No. Okay.
So I'm waiting for a Coco Bananas game from Tom Trbojevic.
Right.
I will join you on the Manly train.
Let's get on Manly by 13 plus.
Yeah,
Tommy,
I'm on
Tommy
it.
with 2 tries.
I'll if we look good or silly, I'm there with you, Dave, next week. And Sharks and Storm at Shark Park. I'm picking Sharks. I don't care. I'm not going to be pessimistic anymore.
Because they used up all their points last week, the Storm, didn't they?
That's right. And, so they're not kind of... I don't know. They're not going to be battle-weary at all. They're just going to be... That was like Oztag, really.
Exactly. They're not... Hang on. Are the Sharks full strength? Who are they missing? Your tall
Hazelton.
Timber.
Hazelton.
Your tall Timber's the only one out, right? Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
Ben loves
why.
his hairstyle, doesn't he?
Yeah. I'll be. I'm not happy with Jesse Colquhoun on the bench.
There's a chance on the extended bench you've got. Talakai's already on the bench, isn't he?
Yeah. What about Tapua? There's no Teague Wilton's on the extended.
Okay.
As well.
Yeah. There you go. Teague in for Colquhoun, and then you'd be confident, wouldn't you?
I would. I'd still rather Barrel instead of Atkinson there, but that's not going to happen, so I may as well shut up about it. What do you reckon, Dave? I'm just Sharks, probably 1 to 12. What say you?
The Tigers just were not there last week at all.
No.
It's like they were there, but they forfeited.
Got to make a pick, sir.
All right, let's go the Sharks by 4.
Sharks
it's going to be
4.
20-16.
Sharks by 4, and I'm not going to say Hero anytime try scorer because as soon as I do, he won't. But he scores a lot of tries.
Don't jinx it.
Yeah. What else we got? We got Broncos and Dragons next. That's at Suncorp as well. What do you think? Hang on.
Yeah.
Has Ezra Mann been named?
Ezra Mann is back. He's been named.
Wow.
He comes in place of the very injured Ben Hunt, who ruptured, I think, his hamstring off the bone.
I don't think that's a good idea. Well, they've got Billy Walters there. Why not pick Billy Walters there? And then next week, I'm pretty sure Broncos have the bye next week. You could ease Mann back in after the bye.
He did play reserve grade last week. And he got penalised a lot and didn't get suspended, so he's straight into first grade.
I don't think that's a good look. I think they could have played equally as well with Billy Walters there this week, to be perfectly honest. Anyway,
whatever the start is for the Dragons, I'll take it.
That's not bad. I will go. Dave, you're talking me into things this week. I'm going to go with you. Dragons for the start.
I don't know what it is, but I'm taking it.
Yeah, and it seems like the sort of game that Flano would... He just decides to pick games and get everyone up for him, right?
Yeah. And this is going to be a big grindy grind game.
And he would be pissed off with that Waz loss last week.
Yeah, especially seeing it was Valentine Holmes' fault alone.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. All right, Raiders and Titans.
Are you going to pick your Titans this week?
Yeah. No. Well,
I tell you, have a look at who number 14 is.
It's in Canberra.
For the Titans.
He's number 4. Oh, Forsberg.
Yep. I really feel like he's been the missing link to unlock this team.
Yeah. So we got Nicholson out for the Raiders. I think that's about it.
Zach Hosking's a pretty good replacement, though.
He is bloody good replacement. Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah. I hate having to tip any game with the Titans now. It's upsetting. They could be so good and so shit.
I'll help you out. I'm going to go first. I'll tip the Titans in Canberra.
Why are you doing that?
I just got a feeling it's going to be so high scoring. It's going to be like 32-30.
Yeah. Okay, I'm with you. I'm with you, Dave.
Oh, man. What else can I persuade you into tonight, Stu?
You got a fridge freezer for sale that you don't want? I could be talking to that. All right. Last game of the round, Tigers and Rabbits. That is at Campbelltown.
I don't know what the Tigers' record at Campbelltown's like.
Well, I don't know. Is
it a fortress?
I don't think it's a fortress. I don't think they do that great there. And think about this. The current sports bet odds, $1.94 Tigers, $1.90 Rabbits.
Okay.
After what the Rabbits did last week and what the Tigers did last week, got them even?
Well, at the end of the day, I'm going to take Wayne Bennett over Benji. That's what I'll do.
I agree. I don't understand that at all. And Dave, for whatever reason, our tips are identical this week. Oh, no, except for Dolphins and Waz.
Well, good. And I'll do another one. I think there's a chance Penrith can lose against the bye because of Shane Elford playing water games with the ball.
They're picking Casey McLean. No, that's not nice, Stuart.
Well, we need a drive by. There he goes.
I will always put the caveat in that I'm fully aware that I'm criticising people who have achieved a lot more than I ever would have in the game.
And I think he's still a teenager.
Yeah, and I'm in my mid-40s thinking I'm great. All right, Dave. Have an NRL of time.
Thank you, Stu. See you next week.
Bye.
This is an Angry Chimp podcast.